we're here and what we've been doing. We have a prescription drug prevention task force that has, prescription drug prevention program that's been here in San Diego for the last 4 weeks. We have a initiative and a goal of educating the community about the dangers of prescription drug abuse. We are based out of high schools, and we've been participating with 3 high schools here in the San Diego area the time we've been present. Those high schools are San Diego High, University City High, and Francis Parker Upper School. Our program is community-based in that we push information out into the community. We've had the opportunity to meet and work with Say San Diego and look forward to working with them more in the future. We also want to be involved in the medical community, and we have Dr. Lev that we're going to introduce in a little bit, and she's going to tell you a little bit about what's been going on in the medical community. But this is a program that's been 2 years in the making, and how it got started. I'm actually a pain management physician. I've been practicing pain management in the state of Florida for about 10 years. I fought for about 6 to 8 years for a prescription drug database with my colleagues in the state of Florida. And during that time, became very impassioned about the cause and the result of prescription drug abuse and the number of deaths that was attributable to that problem. In the state of Florida, we're losing almost 8 people a day. In the United States, the statistics are equally alarming. There's about 70 people a day who are losing their lives to prescription drugs in this country. The CDC now calls it an epidemic, and it's something we all need to be aware of. Shannon Sayer and I got involved in this program and created it when we realized that the only real solution to the problem of prescription drug abuse in this country is through prevention. And unfortunately, the treatment options out there are slim. There are treatment programs, but once someone becomes addicted to these kinds of drugs, many times there's no cure, and it's a lifelong struggle. So we strongly believe that the only real solution is prevention of first-time use. So we developed this program with the intention of trying to educate our young people, our teenagers specifically, about the truths involved around the subject of prescription drug use. And we feel that by educating them and giving them real facts and eliminating some of the misperceptions out there, that young people will make better decisions, and hopefully we can prevent first-time use. So let's go back and let's look at some of the statistics. These are some of the statistics that got me very impassioned about this issue. The first statistic I want you to look at is the rate of increase in overdose deaths as a result of prescription drugs over the last several years. This trend continues to go up, and today the number is 4 times as many people are dying today at the hands of prescription drug abuse versus 1990. So the numbers continue to escalate. It's an alarming statistic, and again, one that even the CDC is now recognized as being a national problem. Unintentional overdose deaths to prescription drugs today outnumber those of all illicit drugs combined. So if you take heroin, you take cocaine, you take meth, you take hallucinogens, LSD, and such, and you add them all up, more people are dying today at the hands of prescription drugs than all of those other drugs combined. That's an alarming statistic. This one I find very interesting. People probably don't expect this. I know I didn't. But there are more people starting to abuse prescription drugs to get high for the first time than there are those that abuse marijuana to get high for the first time. So new initiates of prescription drugs now outnumber new initiates of marijuana in this country. And that's kind of a telling of what's going on culturally in the United States. This last graph that I want to share with you is one that I find extremely alarming, and this trend also continues to increase until, even through today. But this was a 542% increase in teen abuse. That's opioid or pain medication abuse among teenagers. 542% increase over that period of time. And again, those numbers continue to escalate with the same trends throughout today. So we think about this and we wonder, well, what does that mean if teens are abusing these drugs? Why is that happening, and what are the effects of that, and what are the potential consequences of that? We did a little research and we realized that, in order to understand this problem, we've got to understand a little bit more about the teen brain. Teenagers at a specifically higher increased risk of addiction. And there's several reasons for that. First off, let's go back for just a second. First off, before we get to that, I want to talk a little bit about what some of our early data has shown. We did a questionnaire survey among the 3 high schools that we've been been present at for the last 30 days. This survey was administered prior to us coming into the school and having a presence on campus. So these are interesting baseline statistics of teenagers in San Diego. And what we found is about 65% of the teens questioned in that survey stated that they either knew somebody that were taking prescription drugs or abusing prescription drugs, that they had taken or abused prescription drugs, or that they had bought prescription drugs from somebody not having been prescribed to them as they should be. So we found that as an alarming statistic. 65% of teens in San Diego, this is a representative sample, said that they were well aware of this problem personally. 49% said that they were either worried about themselves or a friend use of prescription drugs. That was alarming to me. And 70% said that they knew how to get these medications. They could get them from their parents' medicine cabinets, and up to 75% said that they could probably buy them from a friend on campus. So those are statistics right here in your community that I think is really important that you're aware of. Now, as I started to talk a minute ago about brain development, in order to understand why this is such a concern in our country and why it's really taken hold, we have to understand the teen brain. We have just recently learned in the last several years that the brain continues to develop in teenagers until they're about 25, mid-20s, varies from person to person, but to the mid-20s, the brain is still maturing. The interesting thing is, when we talk about brain maturation, we've learned now that the brain matures from the posterior, or the back of the brain, anteriorly to the front of the brain, which is very interesting. So it's not until you're in your early 20s that you really get full developmental capacity of the brain. And when we think about it developing from back to front, that's relevant because when we look at the map of the brain and what functions occur at what part of the brain, the back of the brain controls coordination, motor activity, vision, and things of that sort. The mid part, or the limbic system of the brain, which controls your reward system and memory, and then the frontal part of the brain, which is your rational thinking and your thought processes and your cognitive development, all develop last. Well, what does that mean? That means that kids, specifically teenagers, are more adept in physical activity. They're able to, ride bikes, play sports, and do things like that, but they're not very skilled at making rational decisions. And that's common. Most of you that have children understand this because you deal with it on a day-to-day basis. But the important thing about that is when kids are in a situation to make a very important life-changing decision, they may not always make the right decision. I think it's important for teenagers to understand this because when they understand what's going on in their own brain, it helps them take a step back and think twice before making the decisions they make. I want to talk for just a minute about our program, about Wake Up, and what makes us unique. You see some of the things around you. Some of the graphics that we use are kind of edgy and in your face. We specifically designed these kinds of graphics because we think they appeal to the teenager, and our research so far has shown us that they do. So some of the graphics you might find really edgy, but they've been successful in appealing to the teenage groups. Another very important part of our program is that we utilize what's called a teach, not preach approach. We've studied other programs in the past, programs that have come, some have been successful, some have not been so successful. But we've studied the failures and we've studied the successes, and we have learned that you can't go in and preach to kids, especially to teenagers. You can go in and you can educate them and you can empower them with information, and that's what our program does. We want to educate them with facts, and our assemblies and all the information we push out to teens in our program is really about fact. The teenagers are then left to make decisions, but hopefully by having these facts, they're going to make informed decisions and better decisions. We do a simultaneous outreach, not only to the school, through the high schools, but also to the communities, working with community groups. We reach the medical community, working with local medical societies and other medical and dental organizations and things like that. So there's a comprehensive community approach to our program, which is unique compared to some of the other programs out there. We've been working for about 2 years on this project, and over the last year we've been working with the Millennial Generation Youth Advisory Board. The Millennial Generation Youth Advisory Board has been really critical in helping us tweak this program so that it appeals to the millennial generation, which is the age group we're trying to reach. Our presence is not a hit and miss. We don't come and leave. We actually have a sustained presence in the school for up to a month. We've been working in these schools here in San Antonio for 30 days, and we've been able to develop some relationships and trust among the students and the student groups, and we think that's very important. Another way that we ensure sustainability of our program is that while we're in the school, we actually develop what's called a core group of students that we work with specifically. The core is designed to grow as a club within the school over time, even long after we leave. We stay engaged with the Corps through the community groups in the city, but also through social media and stuff. We've developed extensive social media tools and applications and such, very interactive platform that we can keep the kids engaged and have ongoing communication, ongoing projects to continue to push the information and the facts into the community to keep the message alive. We utilize multiple media outlets, and you're going to see some of that today because we've got a media recap where you're going to appreciate some of the engagement of the media, both locally and nationally, which I think is really critical to the success of a program like this. When you get media engagement, you're able to take a message and not just reach thousands, but reach tens and potentially hundreds of thousands around the country, and that's a very important part of our program. And then the final thing that I really want to emphasize is the fact that this program is designed to prove itself. So we have incorporated outcomes measurements. We've engaged a third-party entity, which is separate from us, to actually design and implement the tool that's being used to measure behaviors, knowledge, and attitudes among the people in the community, specifically the teenagers, about the issue of prescription drugs. Our goal, as we do follow-up studies, is to show that the program has made a difference in that community, that we've actually changed lives by improving knowledge base for these people. So I leave you with one thought, and the thought is that right now this problem of prescription drug abuse is an epidemic. The CDC states it's an epidemic. We're losing 15,000 people per day. And the big reason, I know many people ask, why is this an epidemic? How did this happen? Well, one of the reasons is availability. Availability of these medications is a big problem. That's one of the reasons we're working so closely with the medical community so that we can help educate our healthcare providers, but also educate the patients so that you guys are more informed when you go to seek healthcare. Availability is a big problem. There's a new consumerism, a new consumer philosophy these days that we all kind of need a pill, a cure for whatever ails us. That's part of the problem too. But the biggest problem that has led to this epidemic, in my opinion, is the common persistent misperceptions that are out there. So many people continue to believe that prescription drug abuse is safe. They believe it's safe because the drugs are legal. They believe it's safe because they come from a physician, because they're used in the medical community, because they're filled in a pharmacy. And folks, what we know is that is just not true. It is false. And our mission is to dispel that false belief and to continue to educate the communities about this problem. So from there, I would like to encourage folks to visit the website and for resources, more information. But before we go further, I'd like to take this moment to introduce a local San Diego family here, the Rubens, and Sherry and Aaron Rubens specifically. We're going to show a short video, and then I'm going to have Sharon take the stage with Aaron and tell you a little bit about their story. And unfortunately, their story is about consequence. It's about what some of the negative consequences can be when abusing prescription drugs.
Goodbye, and now I'm glad I didn't know the way it all would end, the way it all would go. Our lives are better left to chance. I could have missed the pain, but I'd have had to guess.
Go ahead.
Oh, our pleasure. Good morning, and hello to everyone here and everyone out there online and streaming. First of all, Aaron always likes to say hello, and he waves because, unfortunately, because of his overdose, Aaron's voice was taken from him the way you and I speak, but he understands everything that's going on, and he will be contributing fully today by using his hand and his fingers, answering 1 for yes and 2 for no. So I'm going to ask Aaron a few questions so he can tell the story of his journey with prescription pills and addiction. Aaron, when you were in high school, did you use prescription pills and drugs and alcohol and marijuana? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yes. And did you ever think anything bad would happen to you, Aaron, when you were using those pills? 1 for yes, 2 for no. No. And did you think that you could stop using them at any time that you wanted to, Aaron? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yes. And I think that's one of the most important things that we like to share today. Is that one of the things that's real important to you, Aaron? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Yes, that even if you want to stop taking these pills, they're so strong and they affect your brain chemistry so quickly that even when you want to stop taking them, that it's very, very difficult. Not that it can't be overcome, but it is a lifelong disease. And we get enough diseases, I think, without trying or making a choice to get that disease. So we would hope that one of our messages is that Aaron's message is to not at least first make that choice that could ultimately and eventually lead you down the path of the disease of addiction. Also, Aaron, when you were using prescription pills, did you have a lot of other friends that were using too? 1 for yes, 2 for no. Can you raise a hand? Yes. And did they think anything bad was going to happen? 1 for yes, 2 for no. No. So I just asked Aaron that question to validate some of the statistics that you just saw from the Wake Up campaign, because truly the perception of harm is nil when it comes to these prescription pills, and there's a lot of reasons for that, but we don't really get into that. If we can educate so they don't make that choice, then that takes care of that. And so, Aaron, you were using, did there become a time that, well, let me go back. Aaron, when you were using, when you first started using, was it fun? Yes. And then after a little while, was it still fun? 1 for yes, 2 for no. No. And I think that's another important issue that Aaron and I go back and forth and communicate the best we can about what he wants to say when we're up here. And that's one of the most important things to him, is that at first you think that it's a lot of fun, but then it becomes very painful. And is that correct, Aaron? Yes. And once you start taking these pills periodically, if you don't get the pills, do you feel like you're dying, Aaron? Yes. And so what happens, again, to the brain, like Dr. Lori was explaining to you, is that your brain is at a stage of growth, and these pills affect that, and they forever change the chemistry in your brain. And the more you take, the more they want to feel better. And if you can't get that drug, then you start going into the withdrawals, which a lot of times we thought when we were struggling with Aaron, and Aaron was struggling with his disease of addiction with these pills, we thought when he was sweating and shaking and things like that, that he was overdosing because we were uneducated. He actually was trying to kick going off of those pills himself, so he was actually going through withdrawals. And it's excruciating. Again, yes, Eric? Yes. And so there came a time that you went to your dad and you said this was kind of out of control, correct, Aaron? Yes. And so his father took him to inpatient and outpatient treatment centers. He went to psychologists, therapists, every avenue that we knew to do to help Aaron with his struggle. He ultimately went to a residential treatment program, which he said that he needed to go to. And my husband took him up there, and not knowing about the disease of addiction and how it changes your brain forever, we thought after 7 months of Aaron being there and we had our son back and he was normal, he wasn't argumentative, he wasn't fighting with us, he wanted to continue making good choices in his path, that it was great. Oh, we're done, he's fixed. And he came home, and then 6 weeks later he overdosed. And so I think an important part of the message is that you can't fix addiction once you can maintain it, just like any other disease. But once you make that choice, you are left with the consequences in some form for the rest of your life if you don't die. You'll either be an addict for the rest of your life, or you could not die and end up with the challenges that Aaron has every day. And so, again, we encourage you to not even go down that path. And then I'm going to ask Aaron if it's okay if I can read some of the things out of his rehab journal. Is that okay? Okay. I did stupid and insane things when I was loaded. I am sick. I can't even stop taking pills even after detox. All my behavior while using was out of control. Self-inflicted injury and emotional distress. I am not me. I am heavily using and losing myself. I'm in a black hole filled with self-loathing, pain, depression, and despair. I am out of control again. I am eating Oxy and Xanax. I just want to feel normal. And that's just a few of the things that Aaron has written in his journal about the emotional distress and how he was feeling and what these drugs do to you if you abuse them. And we just hope that Aaron, you can remember Aaron and his story, and think about that when anyone offers you something to put in your body that is not yours, that you choose to say no. And another component is for the young adults that are in high school is that Aaron, were you at a friend's house when you overdosed? One for yes, two for no. Yes, Aaron was at a friend's who he knew since he was 10 years old, and he overdosed when he was 23. So the family had known him for quite some time. So we were calling Aaron on his cell phone, which alerted the mother to Aaron sleeping on the couch, and she found Aaron blue and non-responsive. And in her own words, she had beat him on his chest, took ice and threw it on him. Then they used Aaron's cell phone to call the pharmacy in Tijuana where the pills were purchased. Then they called a friend who was an EMT, and the EMT said call 911. They still didn't call 911. Then the father and the son assumed Aaron was dead because he had very, very shallow breathing. They dragged him to the car, put him in the back seat, and when they arrived at the hospital, the attendant physician in the emergency room asked, why is he like this? Did he fall? Is he diabetic? Did he have a seizure? They said, I'm sorry, we have no idea. So ultimately, Aaron, are the people that you party with and do drugs with, are they your friend? Will they have your back? One for yes, two for no. No. And that's another message that we really like to give the young people. If you choose to go down this path and make choices that you probably shouldn't, you're more than likely with people that are not making the best choices in their life at the same time, and they will be willing to sacrifice you because of their own fear. And so we really, really want to make sure that you think really fast and hard about the choice of taking prescription pills and any other drugs or alcohol in your life. And I think, is that good, Aaron? Yeah? Yeah. So I don't know if anyone has any questions or what the program is.
Yeah, if there are any questions in the audience, please feel free to ask at this time.
Question. Thank you for sharing your story. I was just, what you read while about his journal. I was just wondering, with the work that you're doing now for yourself and for others, Aaron, do you feel better about yourself?
Aaron, the question is that do you feel how you were struggling in a lot of pain that you written in your journal? Do you feel better about yourself now? Yes. And that brings to mind another question that I do ask Aaron. Aaron, even though and despite you have challenges today, are you happier with yourself than when you were abusing drugs? Yes. Any other question? I thought I saw one more. No? Hand went down. All right, well, we thank you very much for being here. We hope that you make some good choices in your life. And we're going to pass back over to Dr. Brown.
Thank you, Aaron. Thank you, Sherry, for coming. They have a powerful message that I think is so important that everyone hear. They also have a foundation called the Hope Foundation I'd like to refer people to as well. Next in our agenda, what I'd like to do is to invite Dr. Ronit Lev up to the stage. Dr. Lev is an emergency department physician at Scripps Mercy Hospital here locally in San Diego. She is also the chairperson for the San Diego Medical Society Medication Prescription Drug Abuse Task Force. I hope I said that correctly. The reason that I think it's really important that Dr. Lev present to you is because San Diego right now is probably one of the most progressive cities in the country with regard to being the medical community stepping up and being proactive about prescription drug abuse. And the prescription drug abuse we're seeing, folks, are all prescription drugs, whether they're sedatives like Xanax and Valium and sleep aids, whether they're opioid or pain medications or benzodiazepines or prescriptive drugs, and then the new alarming abuse we're seeing is in stimulants as well. So, Dr. Lev.
All right, so thank you so much for inviting me. Ronit Lev, I'm an emergency physician here at Scripps Mercy Hospital in San Diego, and I chair the San Diego County Medical Society Emergency Medicine Oversight Commission that brings together all 19 emergency departments in San Diego, as well as chairing a new task force with the Medical Society, a Prescription Drug Abuse Medical Task Force. So San Diego Medical Society views prescription drug abuse as a medical epidemic as declared by the Centers of Disease Control. The epidemic is endangering our community, our patients, our neighbors, our friends, and our family. And I have to tell you that Aaron's story is very powerful, and I remember visiting him in the ICU, not thinking that he would make it. So thank you so much for sharing your story. So according to the CDC nationwide, there are 100 deaths a day from prescription drug abuse. And in San Diego, the coroner's office reports 479 deaths from drugs, prescriptions, and alcohol last year. And this number is an 80% increase over the past 10 years. The number is only second to deaths from heart disease. And the number one cause of non-natural deaths in San Diego is from drug abuse, higher than car accidents. And of the 479 people who die, 56%, the majority, are from prescription drugs. The number of deaths from prescription pain medications is more than heroin, cocaine, and all other drugs combined. So who needs heroin and cocaine when you have Vicodin and Percocets? And in the United States, we prescribe 10 times more pills this year than 10 years ago. Really, 10 times more. Are we in 10 times more pain that we need so much more medications out there? So the San Diego Medical Society realizes prescription drug abuse is a serious public health issue, and with that formed the Prescription Drug Abuse Medical Task Force to activate the medical community as a force to prevent prescription drug misuse, addiction, and death in San Diego County. And the task force includes members from San Diego Health Department, San Diego County Behavioral Health Department, the San Diego Psychiatric Association, San Diego Dental Association, San Diego County Healthcare Association, community clinics, Sharp, Scripps, UC Healthcare, Kaiser, Palomar Health, and various pain specialists in town. And the task force will work in conjunction with the county-wide Prescription Drug Abuse Task Force, which inspired us, and focus on what the medical community can do to combat prescription drug abuse epidemic. And the task force has several goals. First, we're going to create a county-wide patient pain agreement, which will be readily available to any healthcare prescriber in the county. In order to promote safety, physicians will be encouraged to have their patients sign this agreement if their patients require more than 3 months of pain medications or specialized long-acting pain medication. The agreement will explain the risks and dangers of medications and list the responsibilities that patients have when they take such drugs. The task force will also work on a county-wide pain prescribing guideline for practitioners. And the guideline will include recommendations on dosing, managing side effects, problems of mixing pain pills with certain prescriptions, and ability to refer patients to detox and addiction care. I saw a patient the other day that was depressed and took an overdose of their father's oxycodone pills. It was standing by this comatose young lady and counted the pills to find out how many she took. And her father told me that he was prescribed 100 pills several months ago for major back surgery, but he only took 1 or 2 because they were too strong. The rest were sitting on the shelf in the medicine cabinet. So we want to promote prescribing enough medications to help with the surgery, but not so much to help tempt people to share and to abuse pills. Physicians are trained to sympathize and do the best we can for our patients. So let me tell you another story from a few years ago. There was another young man who was begging the emergency doctor to fill in his pain prescriptions. Please, my doctor is out of town. The dose the doctor gives me is always this dose, and I have terrible pain after my car accident, and I just have unbearable pain. You have to help me. So this well-meaning doctor was convinced to help the patient out, wrote for a prescription that was requested. Well, the patient was not honest about his prescriptions, took the prescriptions, and died from an unintentional overdose. It's a sad story, but sadder is that it's not an isolated event. It's easy to give pain medications and prescribe them. It's much more difficult and time-consuming to have a conversation about chronic pain and management. In March 2011, the Emergency Medicine Oversight Commission in San Diego adopted a chronic pain prescription guideline that states that patients with chronic pain should not be obtaining their refills or new medications from the emergency department. They need to have these controlled substances monitored and regulated by their primary care or doctor or clinic. And this guideline is not for patients with acute pain, not if you break your arm or have a kidney stone. It's for those who are under a physician's care and require regular pain medications. We don't want anyone to suffer or die from a prescription we write. The San Diego medical community is committed to controlling the prescription drug abuse epidemic as we would an epidemic of flu, West Nile virus, or other disease. This epidemic is much greater and more complex than the flu, and it'll take more time and effort, but it will be controlled, and it must be controlled. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks for all you're doing. Again, San Diego is ahead of the curve on this problem, and I have a lot of respect for Dr. Levin, what she's doing with her colleagues here. Interesting statistic, the United States of America contains about 4.6% of the world's population. The United States of America consumes 80% of all opioids within the world. Interesting statistic. The United States also consumes 99% of all of the hydrocodone produced in the world. So that should put it into perspective just a little bit. The prescription drugs that people are abusing, they're getting them most commonly from friends and families through medicine cabinets. Being aware of these excess medications in your household is very important, and learning how to dispose of them properly is very important. And there are resources available to you on our website, wakeupnow.org, that you can check out. Next in our agenda, I would like to introduce a student that we've been working with. As I mentioned earlier, part of the sustainability of the Wake Up campaign is that we have core groups at each high school. This is a group of students representative of the student body that we team up with. We have found that every school is unique, every school has unique needs. And in order to meet the needs of those schools, we really need to have a team of ambassadors on campus. So we've developed a core of students. The core groups have grown in every school that we've been in here in San Diego. We started out, I think, with 8 students at University City High, and now we have close to 20, I believe, that have volunteered and are actively participating in the core. We'll continue to work with these kids over the coming year and hopefully into the years in the future. So without further ado, I'd like to introduce to you one of our core leaders. This is Maliha Abidi. Did I say that correctly? And Maliha's been such a leader with our organization. She's volunteered on many fronts and gotten very involved, and I'd like her to tell you in her words what her experience has been.
Alright, so hi everyone, my name is Maliha Abidi, and I'm a student at University City High School. But before I start, before I say anything else, I would like to thank all of you for coming here and, being a part of this event. And let's clap it up for Dr. Brown and everyone. Alright, so I'm a member of the Wake Up Corps, and the Wake Up Corps is a group of students from each grade, from every grade at each school, and we serve as the ambassadors at Wake Up. So, and what our job is to direct the Wake Up team so that they can have the greatest impact at our school. So, for example, at our school, we knew that the home football game was a great way to reach out to the community and tell about the Wake Up team. So what we did was that I volunteered to pass out bracelets and T-shirts, and the cheer squad was throwing shirts at the different audience there, which were students and their parents, and everybody was there. So that was a great way to reach out to the community and tell everybody about the Wake Up team. And then we got a really good response because a lot of people find out about the Wake Up team. And then when I heard about the Wake Up team, that they're coming to our school and the announcement was going on, I could tell that it's one-of-a-kind program. It's not like any other program that will just come, tell about their stuff and they'll just go away. No, they were like that. They hung around and they helped and they showed that they really cared about our school. So the look and the feel of the program was really cool. And then on our campus, they had these big banners, one of them is right here. And then the kids can't miss the message. So it was really prominent, right out there. And personally, my friends were really into it. And then, she said that there were only 8 students. And then I told my friends, and they were really into it. And then we got 20. Unfortunately, they couldn't come because there's a school thing, and they had to be there. So otherwise, they would have shown up. So at the end, now I would like to introduce a video that highlights the activities of the Corps. And this video was produced in order to provide you an overview of the San Diego. Sorry, my throat is hurting. Well, it's here to provide you an overview of the San Diego Wake Up experience. So.
They're filled in a pharmacy. It's just not true. Prescription drugs are equally as dangerous, they're equally as addictive, and they're equally as deadly.
I've lost now just because of that. It's... Oh,
This morning was our national launch of the Wake Up campaign. When students came to school today for the very first time, their school was taken over with banners and yard signs and lots of information about prescription drug abuse and the dangers of prescription drug abuse.
I think the program is invaluable because there truly is an epidemic of students that are making use of prescription drugs. And not just here in this county, but in other states across the country as well.
I do like that it's centered around prescription drugs because I didn't have any knowledge of how detrimental it could be to your life. I've always thought illegal drugs were worse, so I thought it was helpful.
I was stunned by seeing all these posters around and everything like that. The poster over there, addiction was a lifelong disease. I didn't even know that was a fact. Like, in a sense, I was also being educated on stuff that I didn't know that I thought I knew well. Like, I didn't know Oxy was a synthetic heroin. I didn't even know that. I knew it was a drug that was prescribed, but I didn't know that much about it.
And so what we're seeing are kids really opening their eyes, seeing the dangers, and participating in a way that only a truly immersive and multimedia program can engage in this day and age.
What we're going to be doing in our assembly is we're going to be teaching, not preaching, with a very dynamic presentation that's full of multimedia and music and videos to kind of engage the kids, but it's also full of real facts so that when confronted with the opportunity to abuse prescription drugs in the future, these kids will have the knowledge to make better decisions. All right, how many people think that teenage years are stressful? I do. So that's a risk factor. But the biggest risk factor, the number one risk factor for addiction, and I want you guys to understand, is your age. Your age. Because you're teens, how many times more likely are you to become addicted than I am? 8. That's right. 8 times higher risk. Consequences. I want you guys to really understand the consequences. You at some point are going to be faced with a situation where you have the opportunity to make a decision if you want to experiment with these drugs, okay? And I'm not telling you what to say or what to do, but I want you to know what the consequences are when you make that decision.
In the past, I feel like this school has had repetitive assemblies where it's been like the same thing of like drugs and alcohol, but this one was a completely different program. It's a mix of the videos and talking instead of people just lecturing the whole time. I think by having a visual like that and then having someone talk to you, I think it gets the message clear.
What we found is that every school and every community is unique. Every school has unique needs. And our program has been designed so that it can be tailored to meet those needs for each school.
It's easier, they consider it safer, so they go that route thinking that maybe some way they'll get a help.
See that it's an important thing and to open your eyes and see that this is a serious matter. This is your life ahead of you. You have so much more to give.
My school was very fortunate to have this assembly because I feel like I learned a lot, other kids learned a lot, and I think it will make kids realize, you know what, it is time to wake up and like face reality. Like there are drugs out there that are right in your home that you can get access to, and you need to make the right choice.
So our goal is to make sure that teens and adults and communities for that matter have the information they need so that they can wake up every single morning. We want teens to wake up every morning. We want the communities to wake up to this problem. We found the name Wake Up to be very appropriate.
Nice job. Next, I'd like to indulge you for just a minute. We talked a little bit ago about how important it is to engage media and how we can reach, tens and potentially hundreds of thousands more if we get media coverage on these sorts of events. So I want to do a media recap and let you see what we were able to accomplish in the short time we were here in San Diego. Thanks to the amazing team that we have behind the scenes with the Wake Up campaign and Wake Up program. We're based out of Florida. Performing the part of Georgie. Connor Boyd will be performing the part of Logan, that's right, I'm sorry. And Kari McBride will be performing the part of Jagger. All right. Thanks, guys. Without further ado, I'd like everybody to give this wonderful team of actors a hand.
So, who is this chick again?
Some musical theater kid I met at school. I told her she could come over and sing with us.
Look, I thought you were going to take this band seriously, man. Whatever. Is she hot? What is with you and these chicks, man?
If you got it, you got it.
Well, you get them high, they'll do anything. You know that, right?
Dude, you're a loser.
Well, I'm still a better guitar player than you.
Yeah, maybe in like 6th grade, but now you're too drunk half the time to play a freaking G chord.
So you got any weed or what? 'Cause I'm out.
Yeah, bro.
Cool. Then hook me up.
$60.
Hey, look, I'd like to sample some of the merchandise.
Alright. Well, it's like a really mellow high, so I like take 1 or 2 hits, and I'm walking to my car, and I see this cop giving me a ticket. I'm like, it's cool, no problem.
Yeah. It's still a lot cheaper than stealing my mom's antidepressants.
If I was your mom, I'd be depressed too.
You have no idea. She's on so much Prozac, a freaking coconut. Hit her in the head, she wouldn't even notice. So yeah, spark it up, I'm buying it.
Save it for later.
Wait, 1 minute. So who is this chick? She's cool, right?
Yeah, man. She's our new canary.
What, did you take her from kindergarten?
Shut the hell up. Skylar, this is Jagger, and Skylar's friend. What's your name?
Georgie?
Oh, Georgie. What's up?
Take a seat. We're just setting up.
You guys want a beer or something?
No, that's okay. So what kind of music do you guys play?
Kind of old school, so like Metallica, Aerosmith, and Guns N' Roses, stuff like that. Oh, and no like pitch correction or Pro Tools, stuff like that. We're real.
Yeah. We just want to go in with a crap load of energy, rip people's heads off, and just go in there, tear it up.
Well, this is so cool. Being here, it'd be awesome to be in a band.
You know, Logan says you want to be the singer.
Yeah, I guess.
Well, you're hot enough, but can you sing?
Hey, don't let him scare you.
I'm not scared.
No, you should be scared. We're not into doing karaoke. This is serious.
Dude, shut the hell up. What do you want to sing?
Well, I do really like this one song. I can sing a little bit of it, I guess. If you want to sing out, sing out. And if you want to be free, be free. 'Cause there's a million things to be. You know that there are.
Not bad, not bad.
What? Well, it's really, really good.
You just want to hook up.
Dude, shut up.
So what about you? You sing, right?
Yeah. Yeah, she's really good. No, I'm not. Yes, you are. She just made that theater program. One of the losers who didn't make it. You walked out, remember? Without theater, there's no point in going to this high school. I might as well switch to SHS or something. No, you gotta stay.
Well, I used to do the whole theater thing. I got kicked out, so yeah. What about you? You like dance around and stuff?
Kind of.
So you like shake your butt with all the other faggots, right?
That's not funny, Logan. You know, I just remembered I have to be somewhere. Oh, but Georgie... No, I really need to go. Oh. Okay, well, I guess that means I have to go to you and Georgie's car, so...
Well, where do you live? I can take you home.
No, why don't you just come home with me? I don't know.
You just got here. Really, I can take you home.
Okay then, I'll just stay here. I'll call you later. Thanks for coming with me, Georgie. Are you sure? Yeah. Okay. I'll see you later. Be safe.
Well, now that that goody-goody is gone, how about we smoke some weed, huh?
Dude, come on.
Are you telling me you've never smoked weed before? How old are you?
She's only 14.
15.
Oh, you had a birthday.
Yeah.
Well, I guess you're all grown up now. I'll have to get you a present.
Really?
Yep. So, if you want, you can, just try this, okay?
I don't know.
Look, if you ever want to understand music, really understand music, first you have to have a life, right?
It's true.
You guys talk to me like I'm 5 years old.
You have to trust me, okay? You trust me?
Don't trust him.
I do. I don't know why, but
You dropped the weed. Here.
I do. That burns my throat.
I'll never forget the first time I saw you. I was walking by the theater, feeling pissed off at everyone. And all of a sudden, there's this little girl in front of me. Beautiful.
I feel kind of dizzy.
Can I kiss you, little girl?
No, girl.
Then prove it. There you go.
That is one thing you can progress into others.
Georgie, what are you doing here?
Oh, I was actually just leaving.
Oh, no, stay. I never thought I'd see you here.
Oh, well, it's the opening night of our show, and the cast wanted to celebrate, so some kid talked us into coming to West College, but it's kind of weird with all these older kids.
Yeah, I know. They're all like 40 years old. Logan went off and left me alone, and then this strange guy with a beard is trying to hook up with me, and so I came out here to smoke a cigarette, and now Why are you looking at me like that? You're freaking me out.
What? You're stoned. You're totally stoned.
Well, it's a party, right?
So how's Logan?
Oh, Georgie's so wonderful.
Oh, is he? I have to be going.
No, please stay. I never get to see you anymore.
I can sit down for a minute.
Yay.
So Skylar,
I was thinking
just like old times, right? You go first.
No, you.
Okay, well, I want to talk to you about something, but I'm not even sure if I should mention it.
What?
You know I'll always love you, right?
I love you too, Georgie. I do. I really, really do.
Okay, well, can you not blow that shit in my face? Okay, I'm just gonna say it, and then you can hate me if you want, but,
I think I know what you're gonna say.
no, you don't know what I'm gonna say. So listen to me. I was talking to a kid at school, and he told me Logan is, like, dealing now. No, Georgie, I mean, like, seriously dealing. Like, he's dealing drugs, Skylar. It's serious.
No, I knew you were gonna say that, and it's really no big deal. He just buys a little extra for some of his friends and supplies.
Oh, that's not what I heard.
Oh, I forgot. You know everything, right?
Look, don't get mad. I'm just worried about you, Skylar. I mean, ever since you started dating Logan.
Hey, he's there for me. Everyone else walked out, but he's there for me.
Nobody walked out on you. You did it to yourself. You did it all to yourself. Can't you see that?
What are you trying to say? I'm telling you I'm okay. Everything's fine.
You're not okay. Or are you too screwed up to see that too? You're skipping school all the time, and when you're in class, you're freaking messed up.
How would you even know? You're always at freaking rehearsal.
What happened to you, Skylar? What happened to singing? What happened to dancing?
I didn't make it, Georgie. I'm not good enough. I'm just not good enough.
I need some air, man. This air.
Are you okay, Jagger?
My heart is pounding really hard.
Do you need me to drink some water or something?
No, it's fine. I'm just gonna sit and fine.
He looks like a freaking zombie.
Why do you have to judge everybody? Life sucks, okay? All we're trying to do is feel a little bit better.
What the hell, guys? So life's hard and it hurts a little bit sometimes. You don't always get what you want. What are you gonna choose? Life or death? Freaking grow up!
That's easy for you to say. You always get what you want.
You don't even know me anymore. We're not friends. You're in love with Logan. That's all that matters. Logan cheated on you. He had sex with some girl down at a drum circle. I heard kids at school talking about it.
What are you saying?
Skylar,
what the hell are you trying to say to me? He wouldn't do that to me, Georgie.
Look, I can't.
He loves me. He wouldn't do that to me. How can you even?
Whoa, wait. There's something wrong with that guy.
I've got to get out of here.
No, seriously, Skylar, there's something wrong with him.
What is he doing? Oh my God, I'm gonna go get Logan. Logan, shut up, Georgie.
What the hell's going on?
I don't know. He's having a seizure or something.
Jagger, man, cut it out.
Oh my God.
We have to get him some help.
I said cut it out, Jagger.
Logan, you're scaring me.
Oh my God, it's cold. He's shivering.
I'm gonna call 911.
What, and get him busted? No, help me get him into the bathroom before anybody comes out.
No, I'm gonna call 911. Are you kidding me? He could die. He could, like, seriously die.
Skylar, take this.
But Logan...
Put that away!
No, you're wrong. You're totally wrong. I'm making the call.
You want to get us all busted? Skylar, too? Is that what you want?
Give me back my cell phone.
No, shut up! Help me get him into the bathroom before I kick your ass.
Come on, Georgie. Logan knows what he's talking about.
Are you actually defending him? You're actually defending that asshole. I'm done with you.
No, Georgie!
Forget her. She's nothing, okay? Listen to me. Take the bag, get in the car, and go. I'll take care of it.
I don't know. Maybe Georgie's right. Maybe we should call
Do you
911.
hear what I'm saying? I'll take care of it.
Okay, I'm scared. I'm really scared.
I said go!
And see.
So they can tell us a little more about the characters that they're portraying, but it's been a wonderful experience the past 2 weeks, getting a chance to actually first read Holding Cell, which was scripted, and demoed in Florida, and then to get a chance for us to indeed, get to know the play, experience it firsthand, and then So I'm going to let the cast that you just saw tell you who their various characters are, but it's been great, demoing it and getting it to you, an audience. So, Caleb, who were you playing exactly?
I was playing Skylar, who's having trouble at home and meets new friends that bring her to the wrong direction.
I was playing Jagger. I'm a drug doer. Logan would be a drug dealer. He does drugs too, but I do way more drugs. And in the end, it doesn't turn out too well for me.
I'm Nina. I play Georgie. Georgie's kind of struggling with her friend because her friend has suddenly left her. So she's trying to help her out, but it doesn't really work out.
I was playing Logan, who turns out to be a drug dealer and convinces Skylar to join him in his bad ways.
All right. Thank you very much for watching us.
Wake Up Campaign thanks Philippe and his crew tremendously. They've been fabulous in taking this on, and they took it on kind of last minute. It's our goal that Philippe and his team and other teams around the San Diego area will be able to produce the entire play, the play in its entirety, to schools around the county and to civic groups as well, because we think the message is powerful. It resonates with teens, as it was kind of written and conceived of by teens and developed by teens. So that's an important goal that we have. The next thing that I'd like to do is I'd like to stop for just a minute. I want to give thanks to many of the folks that have been part of this program while we've been in town here in San Diego. We couldn't have done it without the support that we've had. We've had tremendous support from the school system, Joe Fulcher especially, and the San Diego School Board. We've had support from principals that we've worked with, which have been at San Diego High, at University City High, and at Francis Parker Upper School, as you guys are aware. A special shout out to Jeff Oliveira, principal at University City High, who's been incredibly passionate about this issue and very helpful to us. I'd like to thank the Medical Society and Dr. Lev and their support of what we've been doing, and especially want to thank Say San Diego. Say San Diego is an organization here that is involved in prevention programs here in the San Diego County, and they have actually reached out to us, and we think we've got the beginnings of a very, very nice partnership on an ongoing basis. I'd like to introduce Mary with Say San Diego.
I want to just thank Dr. Brown, Shannon, the whole Wake Up team. We're so excited that they chose San Diego as a location and the 3 schools, and we're really excited to partner with them and continue the effort and hopefully take it to additional schools. I also want to thank Aaron and the Rubin family. I've heard your story so many times, and it's always so impactful. I have kids of my own, and I have 3 of them here today, and it just always moves me. So thank you for continuing to tell your story. Say San Diego is one of the oldest nonprofits here in San Diego. We do so many different we provide so many different services here in San Diego, from school-based services to direct counseling, and our program is the Alcohol, Tobacco, and Other Drug Prevention Program. I'm one of the program managers. Sherry Easterly is here as well, and she's the other one. And our program is really directed at working on working with teens, working with schools, working with parents, building capacity, empowerment, and helping them understand the issue and being strong advocates for their peers, for their families, and for their communities. And so we think it's a beautiful partnership, and we're really excited to continue this effort. And if you want to know about Say San Diego, more about Say, it's saysandiego.org. And we're just really excited. We do a lot of work on prescription drug abuse prevention. And we're just excited being able to promote this effort and continue to give it life here in San Diego. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you. one of Wake Up's missions is to partner with existing community groups in various cities, and we think that it's an incredibly important mission that we have. There's so many good groups out there doing great work, and our goal is to continue to reach out and to engage these other groups. I talked to you early on about our social media components, and I want to go over some of those just briefly with you. We've got a website that's full of resources. It's been developed, again, with the Millennial Teen Group, helping us with graphics and ideas for different interactive sites. We've got blogs. We've got a place that's similar to Postscripts where people can anonymously post their feelings or secrets or thoughts about the issue of prescription drug abuse. We've got an active Facebook page, an active Twitter page that we encourage everybody to go to. Like us on Facebook, please. We've got a phone app that's been developed. It's now available on iTunes. It's also available on the Android systems. It's kind of fun. It's a picture app, and kids have enjoyed it. You can take somebody's picture and then kind of do crazy things with it and send it on. It's associated with facts, educational facts that come with that. The creative contest here, the Express Yourself Creative Expression Contest, is another aspect to our organization and our program. We have, we feel that, you know, when people are struggling, especially with issues as deeply troubling as abuse and addiction and prescription drug abuse, that it's really important to give kids an outlet, a creative outlet, to kind of get those feelings expressed. And the Creative Expression Program, or contest, is a contest for teens, and we've actually extended the date into November. But teens can submit anything creative. It can be a song, it can be a video, it can be a painting, a drawing, a collage, a dance if somebody did movement, a sculpture. We've got artists, real artists that make a living at making their art, who have volunteered to be judges for the contest. So in November we'll have all our submissions in and announce some winners with some great prizes, actually. Cash prizes and watches and iPhones and things of that sort of things, but really cool prizes. So encourage you guys to encourage people you know to submit entries, because we think it's really important. These are a couple of the entries that we have so far. There are many, and they're available to look at and view on the website as well. The next thing I'd like to do before we close is, you know, I kept talking to you. I've said several times Millennial Youth Advisory Board. Well, we're very lucky today that we have Jacob Nelson here. He flew in from Florida. He is, or has been, the director of our Millennial Youth Advisory Board for the last year. So I'm going to let him talk to you in closing and tell you what his experience has been.
Hi everybody. I'm Jacob Nelson, and I'm from Shorecrest in St. Petersburg, Florida. I've been involved with Wake Up for about the past year now, and I was asked to serve as the chairman of the Millennial Generation Youth Advisory Board for Wake Up. Basically what my job was to organize when we talk with the Wake Up crew and organize meetings. We met with the Wake Up creative team by conference call and Skype several times over the last year. We were asked our experiences, our impressions, and our advice during the development of Wake Up. It was really cool to have had the opportunity to hear from kids from different places all over with different cultures and they're all from all over the country. What was even cooler is that many of our ideas actually got incorporated into the final program, like the launching of at the football games where they launched t-shirts. That was my idea. Although I just arrived in San Diego, I've been following the events and activities on Facebook and from the website. It looks like the program's been a huge success here, and I'm ready to launch it in Florida in 2 weeks.
Thanks, Jacob. Again, as you can see, our goal is to work with teens in all capacities of what we're doing at all levels. Our program, you know, is developed to be flexible and fluid, to fit needs of communities in different schools and different cultures.
Let's run through the facts again before they go.
Sure. And having said that, I want everybody to know that we're very excited to have spent time here in San Diego. We head tomorrow back to Florida. We launched the program in Florida. We'd love to come back to San Diego. We'd love to hit every school in the country. That's our ultimate goal. We think the message is important enough that every teen should hear it. We're going to kind of run through some more facts because I think this is important enough. These are the San Diego facts that you want to run through, Shannon? Yeah, okay. So As I mentioned earlier, when we came to San Diego, before we started the Wake Up program, we actually utilized a survey, if you will, for outcomes data collection. This was hosted and implemented by a third party, independent third party. We have some of that data back, so we have representative of San Diego High's high school students ages 9th grade through 12th grade from all three schools, and the data is actually quite remarkable. What we see so far in the outcome is that as a pre-test level, 65% of students at these schools say that they know a student in their school who has either taken prescription drugs that were not prescribed to them, shared or sold drugs prescribed for them to another student, or bought drugs that were prescribed for someone else. So 65% of the students in some way have been touched by prescription drug abuse, as you can see with this statistic. And up to 49 said that they were worried about themselves or a friend's use of prescription drugs. And you know, that to me is incredibly alarming. If you've got half the students in the schools worried about either themselves or another friend, then we've got an issue that needs to be addressed. 70% of students said that they know that they can obtain prescription drugs that they are able to abuse from their family's medicine cabinets, and up to 75% felt that if they wanted to obtain prescription drugs for abuse, that they could buy them from another student on campus. So these are alarming facts. Based on our outcomes so far in San Diego, as I told you before, we'll be re-administering the survey within the next 2 weeks, and then we'll re-administer it again about 2 months later and tabulate all that data. We'll share that data with San Diego, with all of you, so you'll have those results. Is that good? At this time, before we close, I'd like to ask if anyone has any questions that they'd like to pose to me or to anyone else on the team. Yes, ma'am. Come on up, Sharon, and answer that. Her question was, as a parent, she wants to know what to look for, how to recognize potential addiction or abuse in her child. And before I let Sharon answer that in her own personal perspective, I will let you know that we do have a handout in the back of the room that has some of those points listed, as well as some other interesting facts for parents. So it's a blue and black one on the back table. I encourage you to pick that up.
I think some of the signs and symptoms and indications that we missed that I know now were indications of some sort of drug abuse, were extreme amounts of money either being missing from the house, or a lot of stories whether you gave him money for gas, oh, he had to buy this, or he had to get oil, or, you know, and to some degree you want to believe those stories, you know, or his friend borrowed it because his friend's car broke down and he needed money for gas, and then he needed money for gas, you know. So I would think if you give your kids a debit card or a credit card for spending for things, especially in the older ages, that the monetary issue, when the money starts increasing and increasing and increasing, and really their needs don't change, I think that's an indication. Irregularity in their mood, sleeping, and even if they have sports, we attribute Aaron's sleeping in all the time to working out, football, things like that. And really, honestly, they're young, they're healthy, they should be up at 8 in the morning anyway. I mean, unless they have, you know, boot camp schedules or something. Also, not wanting to be at family events is a high indicator. Really putting themselves out to the side and not being involved either with their other friends that they had, their family, everything becomes more important for them to be by themselves. They isolate themselves with their use, and they pull back away from the family, is what I would say is really high up there on the level, especially when it gets to a progressive use. The early use is, again, very, very difficult to see, especially as a parent. That's why we really suggest drug testing your kid at a very early age so they just get used to it. And honestly, it gives them an out. If they're being drug tested and it's just happened since they're very young and they're at a party, they say, man, okay, I'd love to try it, but I just really can't. I want it, my privileges, I want to be able to use the car, I'm sorry, I can't. It really gives them an out with the drug testing. So basically just the mood and everything, we attributed a lot of it to growth hormones and testosterone and all that kind of thing, just the milestones that young adults go through. But when they get to be, I think in your heart you really know your child, and I think if you can just step back a little bit and write down the differences that you're seeing in your child, that if you can take an objective look in that way and make a list, I think it really helps.
I'm going to add just a couple other things that I would add to that. I agree with everything that you said, Sherry, but failing grades, your kid losing interest in things they used to be interested in, whether it be sports or clubs or something, hanging out with new friends, kind of discarding their old friends that they've had for a long time.
Oh, and also, nothing good, I learned this from the sheriff department, nothing good comes from, I'm just going to go around the corner for 5 minutes. I mean, there's no purpose for just going around the corner for 5 minutes. So that's an indicator.
And I applaud you for asking that question. I heard you say that you have a 12-year-old. The studies now show that initial use of some of these drugs of abuse, especially prescription drugs of abuse, are occurring in children as young as 10, 11, and 12 years old. So it is something to be very much aware of. One of the other programs that we want the Corps to carry on with, one of the other missions that we've developed, and we hope that the Corps kids will be interested in pursuing this, is we're developing age-appropriate educational materials for middle school. So we'd like the high school kids to take this message down into the middle schools. We think it would be more powerful for the message to come from the high school kids to the middle schools, and we think it's an important message for them to hear as well. Does anybody else have any other questions at all? I want to thank everybody for coming out. The Rubin family, thank you so much for being here. Say San Diego, thank you so much for being here. World Beat, Jesse, everybody, thank you for letting us use your facility. Thank you very, very much. Thank you, Melina and Jacob, for coming, and all the other students from San Diego High that did the wonderful production. And thanks to our team. Dr. Love, thank you.